Hello and welcome to this video for Publisher Exercise 19. So we're going to be dealing with fill effects today, pattern borders, and also using BorderArt as well. So this is going to be the file you'll open up here in just a little bit, but I'm going to show you a couple things here first before we get started. So if you want to apply a pattern border to an object, so say I create a new object, so I'm actually going to open up a new file here just for the sake of showing you. I can draw my text box here and I want to add a border to it. Well, I go over to my drawing tools, click on format, and of course if I'm dealing with a border, I'm dealing with shape outline, and there's a few options you can choose here with it. There's weight, there's dashes, and there's also pattern, and we're going to be working with that today. There's lots of different patterns to choose from. Now for you to be able to see it, it has to be the right colors, so you have to contrast. So for instance, down here I have foreground is black and background is white. If I go and were to switch it both to white, I won't be able to see it. So that's part of it with it, but I do have black here selected. I have all these different patterns, different names I can choose from. Gives me a sample here, and of course I click OK, and you can see it's applied it to my border with it. So you can do a pattern border that way. You can also use BorderArt. So if I click on the dialog box launcher down here for my shape styles group, so I click on this, it'll give me the option for BorderArt down here below the line section, and if I click on it, I have lots of different options to choose from. So apples, different pictures, different designs, and you can just pick one that you end up choosing. You can choose don't stretch pictures, so it does the original size. You can choose stretch pictures if you want it to fit. It just depends on what you need for it. And of course there's also a create custom button as well that you can apply. So different things you can do. Of course I click OK again. Now you can see we have this bug border for our picture. So we're going to be using that, and then of course we have been using a little bit, but we're going to be using fill effects as well. So if I click on my object here, I have shape fill. Now sometimes when you're making objects, of course we talked about that idea of the size handles having those little gray circles on them. If you are trying to do that, it's basically instead of clicking directly on this line, I just move it in just a little bit and click, and you notice my line moves in a little bit more for my fill here. So I click shape fill, and I have a lot of different options for it. So we used tint fill last time. You just click on tint to do that. We have pattern fill, which we saw here just a little bit ago. You have gradient, and that's the idea of it gradually changes to something else. So maybe the top is darker, bottom's lighter. Maybe it's like this where you can see the center's darker, the outside's lighter, so you have lots of options there. And then of course texture, you can choose from the textures that are here or more textures as well. So we're going to be using all these different options today. Now if you need to be more specific, always you can click the more textures button here, and this comes up with some more options for you. You can do even with shape fill, if you want to do that with your gradient, having more options than what are here, you click more gradients. So there's almost always a button that allows you to add more stuff to it, and it'll bring up this format shape pane here. So those are the different ones, and then one last one to show you as well. If you do shape fill, you have the option to fill it with a picture, and you can end up clicking on that and you choose a picture. You can do one from online, you can do one from your own personal OneDrive, or from a file on your computer. All those different options there as well. So we're going to be using those, so let's get started. Now you need to open up pub19, so that's the name of the file, pub19 right up here. So I already opened it up. You can open it up at this time, and we're going to save it here with a new name. So I'm going to choose File, Save As, Browse. Of course I'm selecting my flash drive or my folder that I need to save it to, so I'm navigating there. You need to do that right away. And then of course we're going to save it here with the new name. If I can get my mouse to sit in one spot, to 19 flyer underscore your initials. So 19 flyer underscore your initials, and then save. Remember, if I'm going too fast for you, pause the video. If you need to go back and watch a few seconds over again, do that. That could be a helpful way to you to keep on moving. Now it says here that we need to select the pale green text box. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see this a little bit better. And here's our pale green text box right here. So pale green text box. And we're going to set its transparency setting to 0. So I'm going to click on it like this. It has it selected. We're going to go over to Drawing Tools and the Format button, and we're going to click on our dialog box launcher here. And we're going to go right up here. You can see Fill. We have color, and that's set. And we're going to have the transparency set to 85. We're going to bring it all the way back down to 0. And you can see it becomes its original color. And then let's click OK. So just like that, we have it there. I click the OK button. It's good to go. And then it says we need to apply a gradient fill to that text box that blends from pale green on the top to bright green at the bottom. So we're still in the same text box. If you clicked out of it, click back on it again. So you can see I have it selected. And we're going to click on Shape Fill. And then we're going to go down to Gradient. So Gradient. And it basically, again, it said we need pale green on the top, and then we have the color on the bottom. So the one I'm going to select is this one right here. You can see it's pale green on top, and then the normal color on the bottom. So I've clicked on that. You can see it's switched over now. It just gives it a different visual effect, help it look different. Now we're going to select the gray oval text box. So right down here, this one, I'm going to click on it. And it says, so the white round selection handles appear around. So I just click on it once and you can see they're already there. You have the insertion point here. If you need to, you could always click along this edge too. You don't have to in this instance, but you can do that. And then it says apply the newsprint texture to it. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to click on Shape Fill. I'm going to go down to Textures. And it says the newsprint texture. So it looks like it should be this one right here. So for me, it's basically, let me count. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 rows down, very first column. So, and it looks like this. So I'm going to click on that. And as you can see, it gives it that look. Now, often you're going to apply border art as well. And so when you end up doing that, you're going to click on the object. We're not going to do it here in this specific step, but it's something that we could apply to the coupon if we want it to look different. But I'm just mentioning it that you can do it much through the same way of just shape fill, or excuse me, shape outline, and then you're choosing you're choosing not that one. You're going to go and click on the dialog box launcher, and you'll typically see it down here, but because of the item we're working with, it's not specifically working for the exercise. So let's jump over here to the next step. So we're going to change the light tan text box next. So this one, so I'm going to click on it. And we're going to do pattern fill. So let's click up here to shape fill. We're going to go over to pattern right here. So shape fill, pattern. And then what we're going to end up doing is, you can see in my box, I can't really see the options that are there. And so I'm going to end up having to switch here. It says using the light downward diagonal pattern of accent color 2. So for foreground, I'm going to switch it to accent color 2. So this is accent 1. This is accent color 2. And then we're going to end up changing it here to, it says light downward diagonal pattern, which is this one right here. So light downward diagonal pattern. So click on that. We got accent 2 for foreground, we got white for our background, and then click OK. So I'll show it one more time here. And click OK. So now you can see again, it's just making some slight changes, giving it more texture interest here. Now I'm going to save it again because we are going to choose to print the publication. So you're going to end up submitting this file and then of course a PDF. So file and print, or Control and P works as well. We're going to switch this here to Microsoft Print to PDF. Of course, choosing print. Saving it with the same name that you already gave this one. So we named this one 19 flyer underscore your initials. And now we have our PDF. Alright, we need to finish up this exercise. We have one more file left to work with. So we're going to open it up. It's opub19. So I'm going to click File, Open. I have it in my recent files. You will have to go look for where it is. So opub19. And I'm going to zoom in here again so you can see it. So this is the one that yours is Of course, the one you submitted will be slightly different because you chose different things with it. You had to fulfill the certain requirements that were there. You're going to be adding some more effects as well. So last time we dealt specifically with the borders with it and just basic fill. But let's save the file first before I talk about what you need to do. So File, Save As, Browse. You're choosing the folder it needs to go to or your flash drive. And then we're changing the name after we've done that. So we're naming it 19 board underscore your initials. 19 board underscore your initials. And there's a few things that we're going to need to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up just typing that list. You don't have to type what I'm about to type down here. So I know some of you did that last time. This is just giving you the instructions of what you're going to do up here. So don't type what's down in this text box I'm about to put down here. Okay, this is just to help you in knowing what you need to do. So I'm going to switch this to best fit. Okay, so these are the different things you need to do. You have to apply different fill effects to each of the text boxes. You can apply a patterned border to at least one of the text boxes. And then you need to apply a BorderArt border to at least one of the text boxes as well. So don't type this box in that I just did, okay? This is just instructions for you. So of course, remember to apply a different fill effect. You just click on the shape, and then you're going to go up to Drawing Tools and Format, and of course you click Shape Fill, and then you're choosing one of these effects. So gradient, texture, pattern, one of those, that's what it is, okay? These are the different effects you could choose from. And then of course for a pattern border, all you're doing is you could do shape outline, and then you can go down here to pattern and click on it like we did. You saw that before. Remember, there's the foreground, which is that darker color here in this instance. In the background you have the two colors, and then you choose which one you want, and it'll show the sample, and you click OK. And then of course the one that I didn't show here yet in the video is BorderArt. So the way to do that is you bring up your dialog box launcher here for shape styles, and then of course down at the bottom of the list is BorderArt, and if you click on it you can pick one of these as well. So a long list here to choose from, and then of course you can, I like black and white, okay. There we go. We'll choose confetti, and of course stretch or don't stretch, and you just apply it like that. So now if you do that, you may have to stretch it out so I can see the text. So whatever effects you do, make sure you stretch out the boxes so that way I can see how what is inside of it as well. So these are the different instructions. If you go and you just make the file and don't apply these things, you're going to lose a lot of points because you're not following these instructions. And of course, I shouldn't see this text box in your file either because I just typed this in for you to have these instructions. Once you're done, you're going to save it. You don't have to worry about doing Microsoft Print to PDF. And let me show you here quickly the files that you're going to need to submit. If my computer will work. There we go. The files that you're going to end up submitting, there are 3 of them total. Let me move this up here to the middle. So you got 19 board, which is the one you just did, the publisher file, and then you have 19 flyer, the PDF, and the publisher file for it as well. So you need to submit these 3, and of course again, in case you didn't get a chance to pause it, you're applying these instructions to this file before you submit it. And that is how you complete publisher exercise number 19.